underperforming player, I would say here. So I think jungle influence is going to be absolutely key here.
Yeah, I think that's going to be massive. We will have to be keeping an eye on the mid lane. Faith has not really shown us a whole lot this split. Kirino has had a pretty good start for himself despite the loss, but we'll see if he's able to do a little bit more here on this Akali. And level 1, Taco gets sniffed out here. He should be safe enough. If SEM9 don't want to commit to a flash, he's going to be able to walk away.
Nothing really happening here, just a nice little deep ward onto the wolves. It does look like it's going to be a recall coming in from Taco, and he might just relocate himself down into that bottom lane. I would assume he also swapped for a red trinket, so it might be that he just wants to go back into that top side and just clear out that ward, as we're not going to get anything too particular here when it comes to late invades, and it should be pretty standard.
Yeah, ooh. I don't think he knows where the ward is.
Huh, okay.
Doesn't sniff it out. Okay. That could change things a little bit if he heads over to Merkwolves soon after, but we will be getting a relatively standard start regardless of that. Blaze and Pinway open up with a little bit of chip damage onto Philia. PlayX fires back with a Rocket Poke. Braum should be able to tank a decent bit of this, but you never know. I feel like this is a bot lane that can definitely get really aggro early on if they want to.
Yeah, and the extra range is going to help out for PlayX. As the Jinx, honestly, they have a lot of kill threat. If they just go ahead, shove this wave, get level 2 with this Leona, you can just try and insta-pop the Aphelios, and that's why Aphelios has gone for the cleanse. We're starting to see a little bit more diversity when it comes to AD carry summoners, which is great, because I don't think heal is necessarily the strongest option for AD carries in that manner.
Not all the time, yeah. Pinway, of course, with the exhaust on Braum, too, so you can see the priority is a little bit more defensive on the Impunity side, whereas PlayX and Philia, they want to get the kills.
They want the bloodshed. That is indeed very true. And
okay.
Now that you have hit level 2, of course, being able to match the levels, that's when Braum's really able to start flexing his own muscles against the Leona. If Leona ever goes in, it's really almost a death sentence, especially since it is Glacial Augment, which is very focused on getting picks. It doesn't have as much durability as a result. So once you do go in, Braum can easily just lock you down, stun you up, and it's just no fun. Now Caspiel comes in, see if he gets any pillar value here. No, he's just chasing him out of the lane. So it's actually a nice gank, which is kind of weird to say, but it does offer an opportunity here for a response gank.
Yeah, Pinway takes a lot of damage before he throws the Unbreakable down, and Philia actually Zenith Blades over to him, body blocks. That is a little bit of damage here. Oh, the root comes through! Brilliant move by Blaze. It forces PlayX out of lane. They burn 3 summoners for free there. Well, for Taco's Ghost, but definitely worth it.
Absolutely worth it for the side of Impunity there. And now SEM9, it looks like we're going to turn our attention over to Scuttlecrab. Let's see if they flip. Nope.
Smited down. Caspiel at least has his finger on the trigger there.
Yep, so able to secure that for himself is always very good, because as the Trundle, you don't want to fall too far behind. You will naturally fall behind against the Hecarim, but the sooner you fall behind, the worse it is. So you want to be able to stay somewhat competitive in that regard, and he's most likely going to prioritize tier 2 boots just to have that extra move speed, roam around the map, and be able to just attack with that pillar. Okay, he actually goes for Sheen, so offers a little bit more dueling potential. Of course, he is also running press to attack, so has very solid dueling and burst potential with this itemization, along with his rune choice.
I feel like this is what SEM9 want to do, right? It does feel like there's a lot of dueling possibility across the board, a lot of skirmish potential. They do have, of course, double teleports to match Impunity, so if they want to get involved in the fights. Taco going on a bit of an invade trip here, but he doesn't actually spot Caspiel on Krug camp. He will instead opt to take away some Raptors, and This could be a little bit of trouble for the SEM9 jungle as he's getting some stuff taken away from him. Actually ping back. They know that Caspiel's up top now.
Yep.
But it's too late to save his chickens.
Does get those taken away from him, and this has also been sort of the reason why we haven't seen a whole lot of Trundle, is the fact that Raptor Camp is very, very important. So junglers that can clear Raptor Camp are a lot more viable. But Faith,
okay. There is the pillar. Yep, he just throws out a Rim Prison Overload. I suppose there's not a whole lot you can really do about that. Definitely curious to see what this Trundle value is going to be, because right now it's not a ton, gotta admit.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an important period where now the Akali is level 6, so you have kill pressure in that mid lane. So if you're ever able to catch out Faith in a weird position in the lane, like, the pillar will force out the flash, just because of how powerful that slow is and the fact that it cuts off an angle of retreat. So if you're ever positioned poorly, it's very good at punishing that.
And that's something that SEM9 might rely on a little bit later. Ward Wars down in the bottom side looking to set up here, but Taco is coming through the lane. However, Felia and Clayx had already backed away as they'd kind of lost out on the trade previously. So that's going to be the end of that. But Impunity really doing their darndest to push this. A big CS advantage for Blaze right now in that bottom side. Even with the wave crashing, should have an edge after the fact. Caspiel, meanwhile, back up top side to clear away Scuttle, but has not been as involved in these lanes. It opens up an opportunity window here for Impunity to take first strike, though.
Yeah, Impunity securing this dragon.
Pretty early.
Felia
some of our
is
teams.
possibly caught out.
Oh, yeah, he is. That's going to be a root down on the rise. Felia might be able to tank through a bit of this. He does walk away, and Clayx actually takes down Pinway, and he has got so much damage on these rockets. He can't get any more, though. Woo! Way to make lemonade out of lemons.
Absolutely. Felia gets caught out, but it ends up being okay.
Okay, burn heal.
Okay.
Oh, no! Oh, the chakram!
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me, Blaze.
Wow. That was some chakram damage.
Yeah, for real.
He's only hit like 2 years. He still has 198 to go.
Felias can do damage at any point in the game, it turns out. But yeah, Blaze, way to get one back. So now evened up on AD carry kills.
Oh, that's an ultimate down.
Yeah, we'll check up in that top side. You see Shiramine was forced to spend his Slicing Maelstrom to get quiet off there. Has a pretty decent CS lead at the moment, but I mean, that's really all you can say for it. Been a bit of a quiet top side. Pun intended.
Yeah. I mean, the whole purpose of the Kennen into the Gwen matchup is that it holds it down in lane, and if Quiet ever jumps in, of course, even with that miss, the ultimate will still work. So at the very least, you're able to lock down the Gwen in her own mist. But slowly but surely, you will get outscaled by the Gwen. We've seen it a number of times in the PCS early on in last split. And this, so we know how this matchup kind of goes. It really just comes down to Shiramine when it comes to these later game team fights. Can he find that angle of approach and get a multi-man ultimate on the backline?
Yeah, he's going to be looking for those classic highlight reel Smeb moments, right? We'll see if he can pull it off. But this team, they have a lot of fighting power. They have a lot of dueling power. But I am curious how their 5v5 is actually going to go with a number of assassins. A little bit oddball, but SEM9 are bringing some experimentation, and I do like to see it. Meanwhile, down on the bot, it's Blaze and Pinway's turn to get pushed in just a little bit. But Blaze does have a level advantage over the likes of Clayx, even if he doesn't have any summoners. Caspiel continues to not really be involved in any of the ganks or counter jungles. Yeah. I'm wondering about this Trundle pick now. I mean, is it just going to be a pillar bot?
At the very least, it will help Clayx shred through Taco come mid game when Hecarim jumps in with that ultimate. You'll be able to strip away those extra resistances. So it'll help Clayx be able to chew through this front to back approach. However, at the same time, like, it really only helps out Clayx. Again, you're kind of playing a 2-man and a 3-man squad with the SEM9 draft, and the fact that Shiramine, Kirino, Felia are all looking to play together, and then it's kind of Caspio and Klayax left on a bit of an island when it comes to these team fights.
Yeah, tricky to pull off at the best of times, and for SEM9, not giving themselves any easy opportunities. Still looking for that first win of the split for them, and we don't want to end up being the team that goes winless at the end of it all. It was a rough start for the Malaysian representatives, continues to be so, but they have kept pace with Impunity this game, and that is worth something. Even if they lost out on a lead by Blaze just honestly stepping up to the plate big time. Straight up 2v2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the leads, I mean, the gold is pretty even right here. And when it comes to scaling, it almost feels relatively even, right? Because you have Gwen on the one side. And yes, it's a low-range competition, but SEM9, they don't have necessarily the best tools to punish the slow range. Now it's just the gank up top lane. He's good.
Oh, and he can't. Onslaught of Shadows. That was close. It was a nice try from Shiramene to make the escape, but it will be the kill picked up there, and this time for Faith.
Yeah, really nice roam timing coming in from Impunity. They just make that very easily, and Shiramene just one step too far. Tries to get out with the TP, but because he dies with that attempt, it means that he gets even more punished, because now he can't come back to lane.
Yeah, it feels bad, man, but it is going to be Plate City here for Impunity. Taco and Quiet just going to go ahead and charge up more. They should be able to get first brick off this too with Shelly coming up. So really nice turn on the objective play. This is something we've been giving Impunity credit for, is they do have solid team decision-making. It's been micro mistakes that we can criticize from them, a reason why their win score isn't as high. Individual skill level definitely could still improve, but when they make calls, when they make plays, they go in together, and that is step one of successful League of Legends.
Yeah, this team has been very good at moving around the map, which is really impressive to see, given that even some of our top teams have struggled with their map movements. But SEM9 do find an answer at the very least. They'll be able to take this second dragon, and it will be Inferno Soul on the table here. So
Spicy.
Inferno Dragon will be a lot of fun, because it gives you a lot of open spaces that actually makes things a little bit easier for SEM9. With how limited the Jinx could possibly be when it comes to getting dove upon. But it also means you get a little bit less impact coming in from these Trundle Pillars. And it makes it easier for you to get out of these slicing maelstroms.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of a flip side there. We saw a little bit of trading down over at the Tri-Brush. Klayax is living very dangerously right now. He's got the Gale Force, but no boots. I do like a man who prioritizes his damage.
At least he gets a little bit of utility in that fashion, but he is most certainly going to need the boots, as otherwise he's just going to get run down like what could possibly just happen right here.
Yeah, Blaze steps up. They already know that something is up. Going to bring Kurino down, actually, so this could end up being potentially 3v4, but better positioning from SEM9, and Impunity are a little bit spooked here. It's a plate, but nothing more.
They don't overforce, which I can certainly appreciate in that regard. And Impunity, I mean, they still have... I think that ward has been there since that late Raptor invade coming in from Taco. So they have great vision on this top half of the map. That's allowed Quiet to play as well as he has, and he's down 10 CS, but it's only 10 CS. As the Gwen, of course, you're very, very pleased with that result, and Impunity will possibly turn their attention on to Rift Herald. Maybe it's just going to be Quiet trying to solo it out. That could be the case as well. Okay, they decided to pull other resources
as well. Yeah, I think this makes sense, right? There's not a whole lot that can happen. Super Mega Death Rocket does come in, but I mean, it's just so hard these days to get that, like, timing right, to try to nail the AoE. It's less than it used to be. It makes for a great moment when it happens, and you got to try for it if you're not planning on fighting anytime soon, but still. Going to be secured. Quiet right back up to topside in a long lane here. He does have a level disadvantage, but you know, despite the CS discrepancy, he picked up a lot of plate gold and first brick as well. Didn't get it solo, but that still counts for a lot to try and make up for the gap in CS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now, I mean, the side of Impunity are out to a 2.5k gold lead, so that's going to feel pretty good here coming into this next fight, which could happen in 2 minutes. I'm not going to say it will happen, but with how strong Impunity are, this is something that they should look for. And for the side of SEM9, I think it really depends on how well their side lanes are going to be set up in preparation for this play, and if they are able to hold the vision chokehold in this area as well.
I just want to take a moment to appreciate that Blaze flashed the Kale Hunters at SEM9 at the Malaysian team. And then I just remembered, oh yeah, this is a Singaporean squad against a Malaysian squad. It is next door neighbors. That's actually really cool.
It is
it's
certainly
little things.
Really cool to just reflect upon, and we get to see the gold values. Yeah, ClayX isn't too far behind. Yes, he's at a deficit, and I mean, credit to Blaze. That's really just that extra kill coming and making it the difference. And Faith has done a very good job on this Rise pick so far. So so far so good here for Impunity on Comfort Champions. But
oh boy, Caspiel. Okay, there's the pillar. Yeah, Faith is, I hesitate to say he's been challenged this game because Kirino just hasn't really done much to put him under threat. Caspiel hasn't really been in his lane except for maybe the one, you know, kind of quick drive-by. But Faith has been setting up a lot of these plays with Realm Warp dives, and, you know, he's been executing it well. We've criticized him for his performance so far in this split, but in this game, he's kind of doing what he needs to. And yeah, it's a comfort champion, but he's executing it well.
And now for SEM9, they're starting to look to set up for this dragon. They are channeling Recall onto Akali. Akali has the teleports to get back in. She just wants her purchase. It's actually a pretty big... Oh.
Okay, Rift Herald Eye popped in mid.
It was a big purchase. I think he just used his stopwatch in base.
Oh, no.
So that's 650 gold down the drain.
Yeah, a bit of a fat
I don't know
there.
if they can fight this anymore.
They're going to try, nonetheless. Double TP is coming in here, and this is going to be the Infernal Dragon. Let's see if they can get the smite down. It will get taken into the backline. Go, Shiramine! That is massive. The rocket comes in. Can SEM9 turn the fight? Kirino opens up, finds Blaze. Shiramine goes down. And Quiet is opening up here. Kirino is trying to stay alive in this, but he misses the opportunity to try and turn a shuriken onto Faith. And it ends up being a trade just barely in favor of SEM9, 2 for 3, but they do lose out on the dragon. They got to get some gold back here.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really well executed play coming in from SEM9 with the double teleports. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too late to actually challenge for the dragon. However, they still find a great ultimate coming in from Chiomine because they're all stuck in that dragon pit. Even if it is a larger dragon pit, it's still a pit. So they get stuck in back there. The Philios immediately dies. Faith almost goes down, but expends the flash. Actually, a really nice play coming in from him, being able to flash that shuriken to stay alive and also secure the kill afterwards. But all in all, it's certainly a play that's won by Impunity, but you're not terribly disappointed with the result if you're SEM9.
Yeah, I think critically the dragon, like, you want to contest it, but at the same time, you know that the Elder timer is not going to be that bad because you managed to get at least the Mountain Drake for yourself. I think Shiramine had such a brilliant ultimate in that, and Kirino did what he needed to by zoning and taking out Blaze. Even though he ends up dying a little bit later, that's fine. SEM9 are going to try and get away here. Their own Trundle Pillar kind of making it hard for them to get around. But yeah, really good fighting potential from this very scrappy squad.
I can only imagine what that fight would have looked like if there was that stopwatch on the Akali. I feel like that would have just been a hard snowball, but now Shiramine is in deep doo-doo.
Yeah, that's a technical term right there. And Gwen looking for the cutoff here. Doesn't matter if you got a Slicing Maelstrom, buddy. I don't think the team cares. Onslaught of Shadows after the Rocket Belt popped, and Taco is going to claim his life. Yeah, expensive.
A lot used to try and secure the kill, but it is going to be overall a free kill because there's really not a whole lot answer to come back with. Yes, they get this tower, but it is just a tier 1. Like, it's kind of just chump change at this point. And even then, they're going to have to wait for the next wave. And on the flip side, they are also losing mid and bot towers.
Yeah, this is actually a huge swing here for Impunity. They're even threatening the
dive.
tier 2 mid, bringing in the rise. Philia is going to be caught out. Does actually get knocked away from the team. So a bit of a miss-execution there. And they are going to have to back away. Philia and Kleax on the chase. Philia, oh, he can find Faith. Oh, he's managed to get a shutdown. That's huge right there. Exhaust on Philia goes in, though. But it looks like he missed the memo. They're going to chase one more time. Let's see if they can make Philia's sacrifice worth it. A double kill for Kleax. I think that is absolutely worth on the turn.
I have to agree with you, Pyra. They get themselves 2 kills for their Jinx. Now they're actually turning their attention over to the Baron. This might be a little bit too early, a little bit too overeager. We'll see how this play turns out.
Faith and Blazer
because teleport's now coming in. This could end up in disaster.
Okay, they're going to peel off. Actually got quiet on the pillar. That's massive right there. Gwen might be immune in the mist, but Caspiel's able to step up. Meanwhile, they're going to pincer them here. That's a lot of damage being dealt, though. They can't
have to get out somehow.
Teleport's coming through. That's a huge needlework. And Quiet cuts down the Jinx. Kleax is out of this one. A double kill now as Kirino falls. And even with Shiramine trying to make an ult play, he only grabs Taco. It's a 2-for-1. And now Impunity turned for the Baron.
Except for the fact that Impunity did lose their jungler, so they can't actually go for that play, Pyra.
I'm trolling.
But
they were too low.
At the same time, like, SEM9 have done enough to slow this game down, but Impunity still able to maintain a lead. So it's really tit for tat for the most part, and it's just going to come down to one big dominating fight to really decide the game, because so far it's been relatively even trades even when we do have team fights.
What a scrappy game from both teams too, like really impressive. Let's take a look at how this all started. SEM9 peel, a brilliant pillar from Caspiel, and they're on Quiet, but look at this Gwen damage. It's ridiculous. They're going 2v4.
Yeah, the issue is you can't just charge in a straight line if you are the side of SEM9, especially if you're AD carry, because then you'll just get hit by all of those extra blades coming in from the Gwen ultimate. So that's the big issue, and because they were kind of funneled in together, it was very, very scary for them to deal with. And now Impunity get themselves onto a 3rd dragon, 1 dragon away from obtaining that Infernal Soul. That's going to help them out considerably, and just giving them that little extra oomph, especially on the Gwen and that Aphelios, because again, you do have this tank rise, so any extra little bit of damage you can get when you have a tank rise is going to help out immensely.
Oh yeah, you are going to want to make that happen. Gold lead has been in Impunity's favor, not grown a whole lot, but the Dragons are going to make up quite a lot of difference as both these teams continue to trade back and forth. Tit for tat, certainly the name of the game, as SEM9 are looking for a fight here. It's 4v4, with both Shiramine and Faith not in the picture, but Teleport as well as Realm Warper is available, so this could turn very easily. No objective to fight over unless you consider Baron, which is always a possibility, but I don't think Impunity want it. They are the team in much better position to try and start. SEM9 taking a much more defensive position right now as they kind of lick their wounds a little bit off that last one. And yeah, it really is back and forth. The gold doesn't tell much of a story this game.
Yeah, and I mean, at the same time, you look at who's really behind, and you're looking at Caspiel, Ophelia. Trundle, at this point in the game, even though his build is saying that he wants to be a bruiser, he's essentially a support. It's just how the champion works. And at the very least, like, he makes up for his gold deficit by pressing ult onto a champion that has a lot of gold in them, because he then steals away their stats.
Yeah, I mean, it's helpful.
So he's essentially robbing them of their gold.
Yeah, I mean, it works out. This is, it's like the old story with the troll under the bridge. You got to pay the toll, right?
Exactly.
And the toll is all of your stats for about, what, 10 seconds?
Something like that.
Yeah. But Taco doesn't care about that because he's just too fast. He can just run across the bridge quicker. This is how it works. This is fourth game pyrotechnics, everybody. I am making these connections. It is the ancient aliens of shoutcasting at this point.
It's D&D Dungeon Master.
Yeah.
Pyrotechnics at it.
Oh, well,
Coming
thank you
up
very
with
much.
our story right there. But
yeah. Well, it's the roll of the dice that really decided, and I think SEM9 and Impunity have really been happy to roll those dice. Yeah, it seems like SEM9, they've had these fights, these really crazy fights they've been able to force, but they're kind of cowed for the time being. It seems that there's a bit of an item deficit to play with.
They're just saying, hey, we'll just bet it all on this next dragon fight. 2 minutes from now, it's going to be that Infernal Soul. We're not going to do a whole lot until then. Hopefully we don't get picked. You have a decent amount of defensive vision. Hopefully Felia doesn't overstep his bounds and get caught out. That would be extremely detrimental. And maybe, just maybe, you also look to contest around this Baron buff. You do have double stopwatch now completed. Very important that Kirino has the Zanya's hourglass to make up for the fact that he didn't have that stopwatch.
Yeah!
And
we don't
maybe
talk about
that's
that
the difference maker.
Well, everybody is getting involved in the Baron. Caspiel does get tagged by the Winter's Bite. Baron down to half HP with really just 2 on. Impunity, they don't necessarily want the fight. Shiro is waiting in the base for the teleport, but there are no deep wards here, so he would have to come from in front.
Oh,
Taco finds an isolated Clayx, and that could be the difference. Teleport coming a little bit late here. You see Clayx actually managing to get out of danger, but he is also out of this fight. SEM9 do not want this, and they will back off without casualties.
But they do force out the teleport coming in from this cannon. That is a big cooldown. However, still flashes available on everyone on the side of SEM9. That means they engage onto Clayx, he can still get out, but it looks like they're trying to split their attention, going to mid and also starting out this Baron.
Philly is backed right now. He has no way to get into this fight quickly, so if they want to go for a steal, they have to do something huge. Caspiel, he could try for the flash, and he can't quite get it in time. The smite is right for Taco, and now a desperate fight. Caspiel getting taken down to the back of the pit. Meanwhile, in goes the cannon, but is it enough? They just don't have the follow-up damage here. The double kill for Quiet. They're going through. Feely has finally joined the fight, but it's way too little. It's way too late, and the Gwen is cutting them down to size.
All right.
That's over.
Oh, that stings for the side of SEM9. It looked so good for them in that stage of the game. It looked like they were going to at least have a chance at that big team fight. But Felia, well, once more we have a bit of a wonky Leona mistake here. We've had it earlier today with Koala walking way too far out, gets chunked out immensely and snowballs the game a little bit in that regard. But this time around, it's Felia just going for a recall, and that means they don't have their big engaged champion to really facilitate the fight. As we get to see the replay, you see that Felia's just out of the base right now, and Caspiel's already dead. So it's rough.
I mean, that was a brilliant Shiro ult. It's just there's no follow-up damage. Clayx has no mana. Then yeah, he gets the Zenith Blade, doesn't even land it. He should have not even walked into the fight at this point.
Yeah. Oof. It's a rough.
Oh, this part's just gratuitous. We don't need to watch this. Cut away. Cut away! My eyes. Yeah, so massive lead. Dragon
now they have
Soul.
Infernal Soul, so
yeah.
This game gets infinitely harder. But if Impunity don't straight up end and it gives an opportunity for an Elder fight, there is still that possibility, because we might be able to get that that Zanya's Hourglass onto the cannon. But as it stands now, he doesn't have a stopwatch, which means his ults are going to have to be a lot more conservative. He also doesn't have flash, which means results are just naturally also going to be more conservative.
Okay, there's the onslaught of shadows here. Taco goes
Might
in
be
a little early.
overextended.
Look at Quiet, so huge. Even though they went far, they went deep. They're so far ahead, it doesn't seem to matter. Quiet does get shut down by Caspiel, but at what cost? They lose Clayx, they lose Shiramine, and with the Baron push on 4, that is plenty to charge into this base, Nightstar.
Yep, they don't have any wave clear because the Jinx is dead and they are running that Akali. So it has to be some sort of big play. They have to just call for a dive onto this Aphelios. And if they can kill the Aphelios, this game might go on.
Kirino in the Shroud looking for it. Oh no, Philia gets caught, rooted, and taken out. Now it's a 4v2 to try and stand guard on the Nexus. Clayx is about to come up, but there's already one Nexus turret down. They work on the second. Caspiel and Kirino can't really do much. This is Super Mega Death Rocket comes through. Taco low, but that's not who you need to target right now. And those Flame Choppers maybe do enough to help take down Pinway. Blaze is going to go golden, but Faith and Taco are still strong, and Clayx just doesn't have the damage. That's going to be it as Impunity claim their 4th win on the split.
Quadra kill going into the hands of Blaze at the very end. 8